Right then, apologies for the late upload again. I was out yesterday, so didn't really get to watch most of the game. Sort of had it on in the background, but only saw a couple of chances. So I've just watched Match of the Day this morning, and now I can give my proper analysis of what I've seen from the clips and from the highlights. And I have to say, I am impressed once again. I think the most important thing to say about yesterday's game is that if that game was played last season, with last season's team or the team that we've had over the last couple of seasons, we wouldn't have won that game. And the best thing I can say about this team right now is that we're showing a level of defensive resilience that I have not seen for a very, very long time. People want to keep talking about how we look so much better on the ball with Eriksen and Casemiro in the team and the rotation and Anthony and just little things like that, how we're playing better going in the forward direction. But defensively, we are so much more well-structured, so much more resilient in defending a lead. And we've seen it so many times this season already. Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, and of course, obviously, last night. And that is due to a number of reasons. I think it is mainly down to Ten Hag's coaching, because you see it from so many different players. Maguire, I thought, was fantastic yesterday. That block at the end from Bowen, phenomenal block. And it's one of the things that's sort of like last season. You think back to that Everton one where last season that shot would have deflected in off Maguire, whereas now it's deflecting wide. And I know that's luck as it comes to say, but you make your own luck. And some of those back post headers from Dalot, it's something we weren't seeing from Wan-Bissaka last season. My biggest criticism of Wan-Bissaka last season is that he has no idea how to deal with balls into the box. And of course, Martinez once again out-muscling the likes of Craig Dawson. I know he had a couple of issues with Antonio, and I think most defenders have an issue with Antonio physically, so I'm not going to besmirch Martinez for that. But as a unit, they're so much more compact, they're so much more determined to win the ball, to stop the ball going in the net. I think Casemiro in front of them helps that. Obviously, Ten Hag brought McTominay and brought Fred on as well to help even more, because we weren't getting the second goal and we needed to shut up shop. But again, like I said, it's a level of defensive resilience I've not seen for a very long time in Manchester United. And that is a massive positive going into the rest of the season, because if we can keep that up post the World Cup, we've got a very good chance of achieving something. And of course, I have to mention him because I know I like to talk about De Gea on this channel quite a fair bit, but I have to give plaudits to David De Gea yesterday. He made a fair few what I would consider world-class saves. Granted, they were, of course, all with his right hand, because as we all know, he doesn't own a left hand, and thankfully West Ham didn't hit any shots towards their respective bottom right-hand corner and De Gea's bottom left-hand corner. Otherwise, they probably would have gone in. But yeah, a fair few phenomenal saves from De Gea yesterday, even if they were all with the right hand. And I think I know they gave Rashford man of the match, but I think De Gea probably warranted man of the match for those saves towards the end of the game. And you could see by the emotion in the players at the end. That's another thing that I really love about since Ten Hag's come in. All the defensive blocks, all of the saves are met with, passion and enthusiasm from the other players. The amount of times Dalot was going up to De Gea and like shaking him, saying, "What a save, come on." And they're always high-fiving and fist bumping and chest bumping every time one of them does something good. And it builds on that momentum. So super, super impressed with how we've defended yesterday. And let's touch on the attackers, because we should touch on the attackers. And we'll start with Marcus Rashford, the man who was given man of the match. And again, he is back to his best, I would say now. He's playing fantastically well. I was really concerned about him as the start of the season. As you know, he was the one in the least form coming out of pre-season. I watched the pre-season games where the front three was Rashford, Anthony and Martial. Not Anthony, sorry. Rashford, Sancho and Martial. And Sancho and Martial were far, far better than Rashford in pre-season. But now that the season's got going, it's completely flipped reverse, where Rashford is the one that is performing at the highest level. Sancho's completely dropped off and Martial's permanently injured. So really impressed with Rashford. He scored another header, a Ronaldo-esque header yesterday after scoring another header against Sheriff. So 2 headers in 2 games after no headers in 4 years. So really pleased for Marcus Rashford. And I'll be honest with you, with Gareth Southgate watching, I genuinely think Rashford not only has a chance of making the squad, I think he's a shoo-in to make the squad. But if he's playing like that on that left-hand side, I think he could be in line for a starting place, in my opinion, when you consider how poor Raheem Sterling's been this season. If Bukayo Saka's injury is worse than feared, then you'd probably put Foden on the right and put Rashford on the left. So I think right now he's really, really pushing hard for a starting spot at the World Cup, and he'd thoroughly deserve it if he got it. And stay tuned to my World Cup squad video coming over the next couple of weeks once the final Premier League game is wrapped up. And speaking of a Ronaldo-like header from Rashford, let's round off by talking about Ronaldo, because you have to talk about Ronaldo when you do a Manchester United video. And look, I thought Ronaldo did all right yesterday. He's obviously going to be a bit frustrated. He had a lot of chances. I think he's, to be honest, for a player of his stature and everything he's achieved, I genuinely think he's a player short on confidence right now. He just needs, we've all been there in our own sporting endeavours or whatever, and you're working. You just need something to go your way. And I think right now it's just not quite going his way. And he's just, if anything, being a little bit too desperate, and he's trying a little bit too hard to get the ball in the net. I mean, even the goal he got against Sheriff, he gets up like he does a phenomenal, powerful header. The keeper makes a wonder save, and Ronaldo has to tap in the rebound. It's just like he needs one of his moments to just go his way. And I just think he's just snatching at a few opportunities. The header yesterday he should have done better with. The shot on his left foot he definitely should have done better with. So I'm confident that Ronaldo's going to get there. I'm optimistic he can grab himself a goal or two over the next couple of weeks. We've got Sociedad, Villa twice, and Fulham. So still 4 more games to Ronaldo to get his form back going into the World Cup. And I have a pretty good feeling on Portugal going into the World Cup. So hopefully he has a good World Cup with Portugal. Portugal get reasonably far in the tournament, meaning that when he comes back for Manchester United for the new year, he is firing on all cylinders, because I don't see him leaving in January. I really don't. And I'm of the opinion that he should stay in January regardless, unless he does genuinely want to leave and starts kicking up a fuss again. But yeah, I don't really think there's anything else to say. We look ahead to the Real Sociedad game. Hopefully we can produce another good performance. It's going to have to be a win by 2 clear goals against Real Sociedad if we are going to top the group and avoid a Champions League team. But to be honest, the way we're playing right now, I would back us against the majority of the Champions League teams coming down anyway. So hopefully we do get the job done against Sociedad. If not, we'll see what happens from there. Another good win, another 3 points on the board. I'll see you very soon.